Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Ramirez and I'm going to be talking about technical communication and how it is important for us to use and the stuff that I've learned throughout the semester. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing is, what is technical communication? Technical communication has to do with just being able to convey a simpler message for an audience to understand, whether it has to do with different topics that's going on around the world or even just simply of how to tie a shoe. It is just how simple and how easy you can give out a message for people to understand. So pretty much I wanted to start off first on what my intervention was going to be for this project. And it's a very simple one, but something that is very resourceful, something that can still be used a lot. And it is how technical communication can be used inside an educator's classroom, whether it is someone who is in elementary, middle school, high school, even a college setting, how professors, teachers can give out simpler messages in order for their students to understand their concepts better, what they're learning, and such like that. So, without further ado, I wanted to introduce the articles that I wanted to use for my intervention, which is going to be first, Society for Technical Communication, which we will be discussing each article after this. From our textbook, Chapter 2, from Solving Problems in Technical Communications, pretty much what are the work processes of technical communication. From Chapter 14, from our textbook is about what do technical communicators need to know about writing. And finally, from an article, DJ's Playlist and Community, Imagining Communication Design Through Hip Hop, and how these four articles all connect to my intervention. So let's go ahead and start doing our literature review about that. So for the first one, for Society for Technical Communication, very important and a very simple article, just talking about what it is used for. So pretty much, technical communication is just used for specialized or technical topics and just giving information about something, instruction about something. And it is something for people to use that is more accessible and that is more useful for them, and that it won't be something too complicated for them to not understand in ways like that. Going on to our next article, which is of Chapter 2, what are the work processes of technical communication? We are given 3 work processes. The first one is technical communicators work as information designers. What this pretty much is how technical communicators can use information and transform it into giving another clear message or giving another message for people to try and understand. So pretty much it is something that's really cool that you can decipher a new message out of a text and how much they can use that for people to understand later on. The second one would be technical communicators work as advocates, being able to know your audience, being able to understand who you're talking to and who you're giving that message out to. And the third one, technical communicators as stewards of writing activity in organizations, which is pretty much just when you are working for an organization or for whatever thing, you are giving out that message, you are conveying that message for people to understand, for people to know about. The next article would be from the Chapter 14, which is very simple too as well, being able to write, being able to know exactly how to give out that message in a writing setting. Because if you don't know how to write, what are you doing? How are you going to be able to convey that message to your fellow peers in an organization, or giving out a message to a society about something and stuff like that? Very important, just being able to know how to write. And finally, for the last article, which is DJ's Playlist and Community, being able to connect something from a culture, from something that is being viewed right now, something that people can relate to, in order for them to even understand the message. Just how in this article it talks about how they use hip-hop as a way for technical communicators to help people understand a specific message about social justice, about stuff like that. And it's order for people to be able to understand that message, to be able to relate to it, to connect with it, with something that they love, which in this instance would be hip-hop. And just how you can use that type of information with something in different other cultures and something that people can understand and relate to. But how do these 4 articles connect with how education could be used? Well, here it goes. My first one, we're going to be going through each article and how each can go with education and how an educator can use it. So for the first one, starting with the first article, which was technical communication, how you can break that down, pretty much it's how an educator can just be as simple in giving complex topics. Let's give it a setting, a math problem having to do with calculus. You have to find the derivative of something. How can a professor give out information as simply as possible for that student to be able to find a derivative, instead of actually having to go and give out blah, 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 different information about it, and then the student not being able to understand. You see, it's just giving how you can give that technical communication for a student to understand. Or given in an English class, how you're reading a textbook, let's say A Streetcar Named Desire, and how a character, you want to understand it, you can go so complex into it. But what the student wants to learn is just like the basicness of it, the simplicity of it, and as difficult as something can be, how simple you can make a difficult topic. From going to the next article, from using the 3 standpoints of technical communicators. The first one, again, technical communicators work as information designers, how you can get a simple piece of information, of a text, of an article, of stuff like that, and how you can turn that into something simple for a high school student to understand. Whether it is instructions, whether it is a textbook, something like that, how you can turn all that into something simpler. Working as an advocate, knowing your students. Teachers constantly forget to understand that they're not just there to teach, but they're there to understand what each student is going through, how each student needs to learn a different way. So, technical communicators, as an advocate, you need to get to know your audience, get to know your students, get to know exactly how you're going to use your students and how you're going to utilize the information that you're teaching in order for them to actually understand it, instead of just giving the information and seeing if they do. You need to know, you need to be an advocate for your students. And finally, stewards are writing for an activity organization. Doesn't have a lot to do with the classroom, but see your classroom as an organization. Now, pretty much you can give out that information in order for them to understand and in order for students to really understand those concepts. Going through my third point, teachers basically need to know how to write and how to do the basics in order to give out that certain knowledge. And if not, how would they give out this information? How would they utilize the information given if they don't even know how to understand it as well? So pretty much it's just being able to use the basicness of writing, of reading, what all those things, how important it is for technical communicators to know that. Basically the same thing for a teacher. If a teacher doesn't know how to do that, how will she be able to convey a message of such importance for a student to understand, for a whole class of 24 students to understand? So pretty much that would be how it goes. And finally, the fourth point, which is something that is important, I see very important, is you relating a topic to what a student sees right now. For example, if you're talking about A Streetcar Named Desire and you're going through the early 40s, maybe showing some music. People relate to music. People relate to visuals, being able to see different scenes of the movie or something. Or just being able to really make a student make a connection to all these things. That way they can understand better. That way they can know what they have to do, what they have to understand with technical communication. Sorry, not technical communication, with what they're understanding for the topic. So pretty much all these 4 things, all these 4 articles are 4 points that educators can use in order for them to understand what they're going to be teaching and how they can be even better technical communicators in the world. So pretty much, give or take, technical communication can be used all around the world in society, and whether, like I said, in just tying your shoe or being in a classroom setting. Using all these 4 points, teachers can finally understand or give more of a sense of how they can use technical communication in order to give out their information in their classrooms. Sometimes we forget as educators that we just want to be there to teach, when in reality we have to get the information across and actually understood in the students' minds. It's very easy to just give out information, but then actually forget how to give out all the information. Pretty much technical communication is there for a reason, is there to help us give simpler messages, to help us understand other concepts and better things. It is something that is very resourceful, something that we can use, and something that we can help change the world with if we just give the message a bit clear, give our technical communication style a bit clearance. From there, we can understand more information and more stuff about maybe how to fix certain stuff in the world. Thank you.